They've gone to golf now.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
They can pretty much do anything.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah. And the controversy was, it wasn't much of a controversy that the NCAA had a pretty woman problem or something. Because ugly players that might have been better athletes weren't getting the money.
They finally get money, but now we got another problem, right?
Feminist bullshit. Okay, I'm going to pause because we're going to go to that in a second. I'm going to take a shot.
But yeah, me and my daughters are. It's weird. I thought it'd be kind of crazy talking about sex and stuff with daughters. Probably back in the day, even your boy, I'd be like nervous. Yeah. But it's really.
They're also of age.
They're also of age, especially Danica, like my 22-year-old, will be 22. Like I know what's going on.
Yeah.
I remember me at that age.
You're a realist.
Yeah, I'm a realist. Like I remember.
I think
being
it's naive to think otherwise.
Exactly. So if I did it or whatever, I'm naive to not think about it. But I actually find it's pretty interesting that we can have those discussions and actually probably helps.
Yeah.
I think, it was interesting. I didn't ever think I'd be doing that.
Yeah, my daughter's 11, so she's not even of age, but she will be pretty soon.
Your daughter's 11?
Yeah.
My Lord.
Makes you feel old, right? Yeah. I'm surprised that what's her name is 22. I remember her in your back seat of your truck.
Yeah, I know. She'll be 22 in
like the
August.
5th grade.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Stopping by just to say hi at your house, right? Yeah.
Getting medicine.
Yeah, man. I need antibiotics.
Yes.
I was getting a little
sick. Why is Daddy sick all the time? He always needs medicine. So let's go into how we met each other through the late, great Robert Villegas.
Good old Rob.
Good old Rob. Mm-hmm. So I knew you from the paper, but you didn't know me. I met you at Philip Greathouse's fight. Mm-hmm. And I was trying not to be like a little fanboy, little pussy. But you're actually just a regular bro, too. Like, you don't...
I've always... It's funny, like I've always been that way, and like I think I'm a people person, but I've always it's been really neat the experience that I've had, like being on TV a lot, like in hockey, being on the radio a lot, being on TV a lot.
You were always getting interviewed,
all the time, and like even then fighting him, like I got to fight on Showtime. I had 5 more on my contract. That's another story we'll talk about.
It's another episode.
Yeah, that's a whole week show. Yeah. I always remember when I was younger, and I'd go to like the Winnipeg Jets hockey game. The players come.
Is that NHL or is it?
That was NHL, yeah. And they'd come and like sign your hat, and like I always thought that was really neat. And I know there were some guys that like didn't have time for it, and you always hear these stories like, and I get it, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're like Michael Jordan or like Steph Curry, these guys, like you walk and everybody wants to like Mike Tyson. Okay, that guy cannot even walk without everyone wanting a picture, especially with cell phones on, right? And signing everything. So I get, but I never ever turned down an autograph. And it's funny being the reputation of being a pro fighter and a tough guy and hockey and all that. I think, and I have bald head and tattoos. Like what I found is people were maybe a little intimidated to meet me, but once they meet me, it's like totally goes 360, and they're like laughing at me and poking fun at me, and I'm just like
you're sitting in a bar in the middle of the day having some shots with me.
Yeah, exactly. And like,
the regular bro.
Yeah, exactly. Very that way I'm very.
It wasn't like no, I can only go to Cats. I can only go to the Republic of Texas. Yeah, so we started training together with Rob. You were pretty much like striking coach.
Yep.
Did he even charge you?
Yes, he did. Funny story. Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
He was always struggling.
Yeah, what I thought. It was funny because I'd boxed all my life. I thought I was a really good boxer. I trained a lot of Muay Thai, and then I, of course, fought a lot in hockey and stuff. I'd watch Pride in these fights, and I'm like, what? Why are they on the ground? Like, what's going on here? Like, knock the guy out. Like, be done with it. And then, but I always loved fighting and all the different arts. So I'm like, you know what? I can do this. I can strike with any of these guys. But hang on here. I'm also a realist, and I got a little brain on me from Cornell.
From where?
Cornell.
All right.
Yeah, not the local community college.
Not Del Mar?
Not Del Mar. Don't take it away from Del Mar. Come on now.
That's where I went.
There you go. Did they have a football team?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
It
was the national champs, you asshole.
Intramural champs? That's about it with you. So I'm like,
shit, hold on.
So I'm like, these seem to go to the ground a lot, though. I'm like, okay, all right, time to get to reality. I go, I need to learn the ground. I want to fight. So I'm like, who's this best ground guy around? Mm-hmm. Villegas. I'm like, Rob Villegas. Do I even know this guy? And it was funny. He used to...
Best MMA guy.
Yeah.
I would say Leo Cantu might be the best pure ground guy.
In my opinion, Leo is the best instructor that I've trained under. I think his knowledge is amazing, and he's just a great instructor. Rob is more real, like, fighting ground technique.
Yeah, he did not teach sports jiu-jitsu worth the fuck, but he didn't like to teach sports jiu-jitsu.
There was nothing sport about it. I was like and I didn't know he actually used to work the door at Planet Luna
way back in the day.
Way back in the day, and I used to go there all the time.
Yeah.
And I kind of remember him being a skinnier guy and talking about. It's funny, we never had a confrontation and everything. It's just weird how nothing happened. But
he had a hothead too. I mean,
that's what I heard. I was a hothead too.
Yeah.
But we never had. It was weird. And buddy of mine, Victor, who owns VFit, I don't know if you know Victor Betancourt, he talked to Rob, and Rob's like, yeah, tell him to come. Came over there, and I'm like, you know what? All right, how much is it? And I'm the type of guy, like, at that time I had money. I'm like, I want to help, right, too? So it's like, I'm going to learn. And what was it, like $99 a month, or even at that time, wasn't it?
Because I was an OG, I only paid $50.
Oh, gee.
I was at a spot when he was downtown. Me and Philip were.
That is, I remember.
Me, Philip, Danny Carranza.
Yep.
The OGs. Me and Danny were there the first, 2 weeks it was open. A couple months later, Arnold Garza joined. He's a black belt now.
I used to roll with Arnold at Rob's.
6 or 7 months later, Philip Greathouse, who works at the Pelican, go say hi.
Oh, John came.
John Alvarez eventually came like a year in.
That guy.
He was really good.
That guy's really, actually, when he fought Pineda, who almost is winning in the UFC and almost won to get ranked last time, what a hell of a fight that was.
That dude's just not right in the head, or else he would have gone places, man.
He could have easily gone places. I remember,
I've kept my distance over the years just because I'm
good buddies with him, but he is
trouble seems to follow him.
He's certifiable. Yeah. He can go off at any time, and he's a very tough individual. Very
Extremely.
tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's quite a crew. But I was like, all right, let's do this. And yeah.
Did you volunteer to do the boxing classes or kickboxing classes?
So I was there, and then I started doing a lot of training with Rob. Like after time, we just start rolling and rolling. Rob had a Taekwondo background, and he could kick really well. And that's cool. But all the fancy kicks, you've seen them work, but they're not high percentage. But I wanted to work his hands, so I started holding pads for him and working his hands, and in turn,
before you, what level of boxer do you think he was? Could he have won Golden Gloves amateur?
No. He might have just on his sheer toughness. But again, I think Rob was an athlete. Like he picked things up.
He's a beast of a fucking athlete.
That's what I mean. I think he picked up things really well. Of course, he could punch. I'm not saying he could hit a little bit more. And I thought it was a great give and take, because I was giving him some, I think, pretty high level boxing, and he was giving me some high level ground. So it was really a great kind of thing. And I didn't mind paying to help his business out, right? Because he would struggle that way and stuff. But yeah, so I had no problem with it. But then suddenly, then next thing you know, hey, can you teach the boxing class? Can you teach the strike? Can you take the kickboxing class? I'm like, yeah, no problem.
Was that twice a week or so?
Yeah, it was like twice a week, and then be 4 times a week. And then people so I'm like, are you paying dues? I'm like, yeah. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, but I didn't care. I enjoy that. And again, I was a member there, but the money was just he has a business, and I was just that kind of guy. I'm like, here, take the.
You've always been that since I met you.
Yeah, kind of deal. But yeah, he was unique, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was really cool because I just did my first week of jiu-jitsu back.
Yep.
After 15 fucking years.
About time.
Yeah, and Justin, I forgot Justin's last name. Barker, yeah. And he's never met me, but I walked into his place, and he wasn't there yet. And I was like, this looks like Rob on the wall. There's Rob kicking a dude in the face. I sent you the picture.
Yeah.
And then I go, but
he should have beat Aaron Rosas to that fight. Oh, I was so mad.
And I'm thinking, it's a guy that just looks like Rob. Literally, my brain.
How many guys look like Rob?
My brain wouldn't let me accept that was fucking Rob.
Although you're right, because even that fight was 10 years ago. So you're like, okay.
And so I'm like,
actually even longer.
And so Justin walks in. I had met him in passing. He didn't remember me. I think I met him once here at the bar and once somewhere else.
Pops in, yeah.
And I go, who's in that picture? He goes, oh, that's a guy named Robert Villegas. I go, oh, he was my coach, my instructor back when I was 19 years old. He goes, oh yeah, that's him fighting. Who was the one?
Aaron Rosas.
Aaron Rosas.
They were the two. I fought on 2 cards with Aaron. Aaron was a real good fighter. He was on Lead XC with me.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, and he made the UFC as well. I thought.
Did they ever get on pay-per-view or?
Well, now with the Fight Pass, I'm even on Fight Pass because I fought with Strikeforce, so you can watch But I think I don't think Rosas made the main cards, but he was still fought in the.
Is he fighting on the UFC, the ESPN ones, the free ones?
Probably, I don't know for sure, but he fought high level because he fought Elite XC at that
Roger
time.
Roger Narvaez fought on the ESPN cards.
Yep, and Roger, he had 3 fights in the UFC, which is amazing.
It'd be cool to get you, Roger, and Justin on one podcast, fight week, and then I got to edit it before so we can all do our predictions. predictions and shit. That'd be great.
That'd be neat. But yeah, so it's actually crazy. Rob won the IFC belt, which a lot of, like Chuck Liddell, a lot of guys held that. But that wasn't on TV. He won some other belts. Legacy fought Rosas, and I think he's a better fighter.
Rob had trouble putting it together in the ring.
He really did. It's kind of crazy to me, and
Philip too. Philip was a great fucking fighter.
Oh my God!
Great coach.
Do not get me going on Phil Greathouse. The talent in that guy, like he drives me nuts rolling with that guy, and he's a black belt now, but he is sick.
Oh, you got ranked?
Oh yeah, okay. He had black belt 2 years ago.
He tapped out he about to tap that Roy Nelson.
10-second knee bar on Roy Nelson, who never even lost a submission match. I'm like, what? Phil Greathouse again, and his striking now.
No shit.
Yeah, like
it wasn't horrible back then, but
it wasn't horrible. But
he trained with you for a while though.
He trained with me, and then but also at Ohana, it's really good in San Antonio. That place, they have a lot of good.
I've heard
UFC guys. He's done a lot of. I was very impressed. Like holding pads, we actually sparred a bit or whatever, and his striking really improved a lot. So again, he's a real. He could go right now and fight.
He probably could go right now.
Yeah,
he's still in damn good fucking shape.
No one, like he trains, like you'll see him. He's one of those guys. He's at weapons.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's over here. Like he's training like 5-6 days a week.
He cross trains.
Yeah, all over. Yeah.
That was a big no back in the day. There was so much pride, and I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but Rob and Aurelio's pride and everybody else in town. Oh my God, we were so territorial. Right before
it was like Karate Kid, dude.
It was horrible. There was no cross training. There was okay. This is how bad it was. But before you were a member there, it might have even happened when you were there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those guys, it was a culture shock for me. It was a bunch of West Side Mexicans. You remember some of them were still there when you were there.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And I'm Flower Bluff. Like I went to the same school as your fucking daughters. My parents are educated. I didn't know any like Spanish slang.
You went from the hood?
I went from Flower Bluff to fucking Robert's fucking. And so
that sounds like my boxing story.
And so that's actually pretty similar.
Yeah, it is in a way, yeah.
And so this is how territorial and how fucking immature machismo bullshit it was. We didn't go to Murdy's, we'll call Murdoch's back then, because that's where the Paragon guys went.
Oh my God.
And so all those dudes they all like Tejano and salsa music. Me, don't speak any Spanish. I have a thing for white women. I'm like, well, I'm going to stick with my team. So when we go out and socialize on the weekends, we would go to like Tejano and salsa clubs because that's what they wanted to do. I'm like, this fucking sucks, dude. Like, what the
Rob too?
Not really, because it wasn't really allowed out of the house.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Mercedes had the whip on that.
Yeah, very much so. And so I was fucking relegated or delegated or I don't know what to fucking call it, relegated to fucking going to Tejano and salsa clubs.
Oh my God.
And like girls would come up to me and they talk like this, or they would say something in Spanish, and I go, I don't speak anything. I don't speak any other language. I'm just English only. And they're like, oh, okay, you were fucking cool. I'm like, bye.
Are you like pure white or what?
I feel like it some days. My dad was CCPD. They didn't.
Exactly.
Those beaners did not like that at all. It's fucking pig son right here.
Oh, gee. Here we go.
But that was definitely a culture shock. It's fun now, and how immature it was back then. Because Justin even said he doesn't charge for cross training. If someone comes to a class from weapons or whatever, he ain't gonna charge him for it.
It's actually really funny because when I was there, that really started to get heated up. And
that's why Dustin Ellis left. That's why Philip eventually left.
Yeah. Well, it got crazy because, and then Rob would even be like, if you thought of going somewhere, like he'd literally try and pick that guy out and beat him up.
Oh, he had his flaws.
And like,
God, that was his biggest demon right there.
Yeah, and like even Aurelio, he'd get mad. He'd probably want to challenge like Aurelio, like come here and fight me, man. Like I'm the best. Like it's kind of like Karate Kid. Like, I'm the best school. Yeah. I'm the best school. Like don't. But it was actually funny because I was actually part of that. Because what happened is I was training there fully. Me and Robert training, and it was funny is because I signed with Elite XC and Strikeforce.
At that time, that would be considered like the minor league of UFC, right?
I would say Strikeforce was on even par with the UFC.
Oh wow, okay.
Luke Rock.
Oh yeah, okay.
All the champions, like every champion the UFC has was Strikeforce, and they paid more money. I would say Strikeforce was as good. It was on Showtime or better. If you look at all the fighters, there's been so many champs out, but it was close. But the UFC smart, they bought him out, and they had bigger company. But actually, a genius, the owner. Man, I was good friends with him. I forget, but he did that. Then he worked for the UFC. Now he's come out with He came out with Bellator. And he's done the same thing. He just sees money over him. But we had Conan Kano. I don't know if you know Conan. Another really good pro fighter out of our gym. and he was fighting in San Antonio.
Oh, Conan. I remember Conan.
Yeah, Conan. And
he got really good.
Yeah, he's a very good fighter, very tough. And it was because I was fighting on the Elite XC card, and Rob's like, dude, no one's going to Kano's fight. I feel bad. I'm going to go, you're not going to corner me on like Showtime? I'm like, what? Actually, Phil Greathouse